The first day beyond. A journey into the soul's awakening. Imagine the moment your heart stops beating. The world you've known, its sounds, its colors, its weight fades into silence. Your body, once the vessel of your laughter, your tears, your dreams, lie still. But you are not gone. You are awake, more awake perhaps than you've ever been. What happens in those first 24 hours after death? Not in some distant afterlife or cosmic judgment, but in the fragile, fleeting hours when your soul steps beyond the veil. According to the legendary seer Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, this brief window unveils one of the most profound truths of human existence, a truth so startling, so intimate, that it reshapes how we understand life, love, and the eternal journey of the soul. This is not the story Hollywood tells, with its dramatic flashes of light or fiery descents, nor is it the rigid doctrine of reward or punishment many of us grew up with. Cayce's vision is far more personal, far more human, and yet infinitely more cosmic. It's a story of lingering, of awakening, of facing oneself in a mirror that reveals not just who you were, but who you are becoming. It's a story that begins not with departure, but with presence right here, in the world you thought you left behind. The soul lingers, a haunting proximity. In those first moments after death, you don't vanish into a distant realm. You don't soar to a golden city or plunge into an abyss. Instead, you stay. Your soul, now free of its physical shell, lingers in the places it knows best. Picture yourself standing in your own home, the familiar creak of the floorboards underfoot, the scent of morning coffee still lingering in the air. You see your family, your partner, your children, your friends moving through their grief, their faces etched with sorrow or shock. You hear their voices, trembling as they whisper memories or cry out in disbelief. You feel the weight of their emotions, raw and unfiltered, as if their hearts are speaking directly to yours. But here's the unsettling truth: you cannot reach them. You try to speak, to call their name, to wrap your arms around them in comfort, but your voice is a silent echo. Your touch a breeze they cannot feel. Cayce described this as the soul's first great shock, the realization that you are no longer bound to the physical world, yet you are still here, perceiving, feeling, knowing. Am I truly dead? You might ask yourself. If I can see, if I can think, if I can love, am I not still me? This question is not a torment, it's an awakening. For a lifetime, you've defined yourself by your body, your smile, your handshake, the sound of your laughter. But in this moment, all of that falls away. What remains is your consciousness, raw and radiant, a spark of the divine that no grave can extinguish. This is the first lesson of the afterlife. You are not your body. You are something far greater, something eternal. And this truth hits with the force of a thunderclap, a silent witness to love and regret. As you linger, you become a silent witness to the world you left behind. You drift through the rooms where you lived, the garden where you walked, the street where you waved to neighbors. You might hover near your own body, still lying where it fell, or stand unseen at your own vigil, watching as loved ones gather to say goodbye. Every word spoken, every tear shed, every quiet regret or burst of laughter, you hear it all. Cayce revealed that nothing said in these moments escapes the soul's notice. The casual remark, the heartfelt confession, the unresolved grudge aired in a moment of grief, all of it reaches you, as if the air itself carries their voices to your heart. Imagine standing beside your family as they mourn. You hear your partner whisper, "I wish I'd told you I loved you more." You hear a sibling confess a long-held resentment now softened by loss. You hear a friend laugh through tears, recalling a moment you'd forgotten, a shared joke, a late-night conversation, a kindness you offered without a second thought. These words, these emotions, they don't just pass by. They resonate. They become part of you, weaving into the fabric of your soul's memory. This is no mere eavesdropping. Cayce taught that the atmosphere we create in the wake of death matters. The love expressed, the forgiveness offered, the gratitude shared, these are not just for the living. They are gifts to the soul, easing its transition, lighting its path. But so too are the silences, the unspoken apologies, the bitterness left unresolved. These weigh on the soul not as punishment, but as a mirror reflecting the bonds it forged or failed to forge in life. Pause for a moment and consider. What would you want your loved ones to say in those first hours? What words would you long to hear? And what words would you wish to speak? If only you'd known they'd carry such weight. Cayce's vision challenges us to live with intention, to speak love now, to forgive today, because the soul carries every echo into eternity. The first attempts to connect. In these early hours, the soul is not a passive observer. Driven by love, by instinct, or by sheer longing, it reaches out. You might try to brush your child's cheek, to whisper comfort to your spouse, to let them know you're still here. Families often report strange sensations in the days after a loss. A sudden chill, a fleeting shadow, a name spoken in a dream that feels too real. Casey believed these were not tricks of the mind, but the soul's genuine attempts to bridge the gap between worlds. From your perspective, the effort is heartbreaking. You see their tears, feel their pain, and yearn to ease it. I'm here, you want to say. I'm not gone. But the veil between the physical and spiritual is unyielding. Your voice cannot carry, your hand cannot hold. This realization is a second shock. You no longer belong to this world in the same way. The life you knew, the roles you played, parent, partner, friend, are no longer yours to claim. Yet this pain is not without purpose. It's the beginning of release, the first step toward accepting your new reality. Casey suggested that some cultures, ancient and modern, understand this closeness. They honor the dead with rituals, songs, and prayers, believing the soul lingers nearby. They speak to the departed, offer forgiveness, express love, as if the veil is thin enough to pierce. What if we too cultivated such sensitivity? What if we listened for the subtle signs, a fleeting warmth, a sudden memory, a whisper in the heart? Casey's teachings invite us to wonder, could we feel the presence of those we've lost, if only we learned to listen? The mirror of truth facing yourself. As the hours pass, something deeper unfolds. The soul's focus shifts from the world it knew to the life it lived. Casey described this as standing before an unforgiving mirror, a moment when the soul sees itself without disguise. In life, we hide behind routines, titles, and masks. We are parents, workers, achievers, defined by what we do or how others see us. But in death, these layers dissolve. What remains is the truth of who you were, your choices, your intentions, the love you gave or withheld. This is not a judgment in the traditional sense, with a stern deity passing sentence. It's an inward unveiling, a reckoning with yourself. Memories flood back, not just the milestones, but the quiet moments that shaped your life. The time you stopped to help a stranger, the harsh word you spoke in anger, the forgiveness you offered, or the grudge you held too long. Each choice, each action appears in vivid clarity, as if your life were a tapestry laid bare before you. Casey emphasized that what surprises the soul is not the loss of wealth or status. Those vanish like mist. What matters is how you treated others. Did you show kindness when it was hard? Did you listen when someone needed you? Did you choose love over fear? For some, this mirror brings peace, a recognition that their life, however imperfect, was rich with meaning. For others, it's a pang of regret, as missed opportunities and selfish choices come into focus. Yet even this pain is transformative. It's not about shame, it's about awakening. The soul begins to see its life not as a series of random events, but as a purposeful journey, a classroom for growth. The pull of the light. As the soul grapples with its reflection, a new sensation stirs, a gentle, insistent pull like a memory long forgotten. It's not a physical tug, but a call from within, a whisper that there is somewhere else you belong. Some describe it as a soft glow in the distance, warm and inviting. Others hear voices, loved ones who passed before, calling your name with love. For some, it's a presence, vast and comforting, like being wrapped in an embrace that needs no arms. Casey taught that this is the light of the higher realms, the first glimpse of the soul's true home. It's not forced upon you. It waits patient and radiant, inviting you to step forward. For many, this light dissolves fear, replacing it with awe. You sense that beyond this threshold lies not an end, but a beginning, a reality more vast, more loving than anything you knew on earth. Yet not every soul responds immediately. Some cling to the familiar, unwilling to let go of family, home, or unfinished business. Casey described this resistance as natural, born of attachment rather than defiance. A soul that defined itself by possessions or status might linger, insisting this cannot be over. Others, out of love, stay close to their grieving families, reluctant to leave them in pain. But the light remains steady and unyielding, a beacon that promises more than the world you knew. The guides who meet you. As you soften to the light, you are not alone. Casey revealed that the soul is met by guides, beings of light, sometimes familiar, sometimes radiant strangers who feel like home. You might see a parent who passed years ago, their face glowing with a love that transcends time. or a figure you don't recognize yet trust implicitly. Their presence a calm authority that soothes your fears. These guides are not random. They appear because they resonate with your soul's needs, tailored to your journey. Their role is simple: to reassure you that you are not lost, to guide you toward the next step. For some, this reunion with loved ones is a moment of pure joy, a reminder that love endures beyond death. For others, the guides are teachers, offering wisdom to ease the transition. Casey emphasized that no two journeys are identical. A soul steeped in faith might move swiftly, feeling at home in the light. Another, tangled in earthly regrets, might need more time, more guidance. But the truth is universal. You are never abandoned. The divine spark within you is always seen, always guided. The expansion of awareness. As you move with your guides, something extraordinary happens. Your awareness expands as if the blinders of earthly life have been lifted. Time no longer feels linear. Moments stretch, impressions deepen. You begin to sense the weight of thought and intention, more powerful than any physical act. The world you knew, its deadlines, its distractions, fades into insignificance. In its place is a clarity that feels both new and ancient, as if you're remembering who you truly are. This is the beginning of reflection, a stage where the soul reviews its life with unflinching honesty. You see not just what you did, but why, the intentions behind your actions, the fears that held you back, the love you gave or withheld, all are laid bare. Casey compared it to a student reviewing a test, not to dwell on mistakes, but to learn. You see the patterns of your life, the lessons you mastered, and those you must face again. Every relationship, every challenge, was a chapter in your soul's growth, designed to teach you love, patience, courage. This reflection is not a punishment. It's a gift. It shows you that nothing was wasted, not the pain, not the joy, not the smallest act of kindness. Every choice shaped you, preparing you for the greater journey ahead. And the greatest revelation? Your life was never about what you owned or achieved. It was about how you loved, the choice to move forward. As the first 24 hours draw to a close, a question emerges: where do I go from here? Casey taught that the soul is not swept blindly into another life. It chooses, guided by the lessons it needs to learn. This choice is not always conscious, like picking a destination on a map. It's a resonance, a magnetic pull toward the circumstances that will best serve your growth. A soul that struggled with pride might be drawn to a humble life. One that withheld love might enter a family where compassion is the lesson. This is the mystery of reincarnation. Not a cycle of punishment, but of opportunity. Each life is a classroom, each challenge a chance to grow. Casey described souls waiting between lives, some lingering to support loved ones on earth, others preparing for their next incarnation. The process is never rushed. It's guided by a divine rhythm, ensuring every soul finds its way. The eternal promise. What makes Casey's vision so powerful is its promise. No soul is ever lost. You may resist, you may linger, but the divine spark within you is eternal. The light that calls you forward is not a destination. It's a homecoming. Every life, every choice, every act of love is a step toward reunion with the divine source from which you came. This journey reframes how we live. If the soul sees every kindness, every word, every choice in those first 24 hours, then every moment matters. The love you give today, the forgiveness you offer, the patience you show, these are not fleeting. They are eternal, woven into the tapestry of your soul. And when your time comes to step beyond, you will see them reflected back, not as judgment, but as light. So what does this mean for us, still walking the earth? It's a call to live with purpose, to speak love now, not later, to forgive before it's too late, to see every encounter as a chance to grow, to serve, to align with the divine. Casey's vision is not one of fear, but of hope, a reminder that death is not an end, but a doorway to greater awakening, a call to reflect and connect. What do you believe happens in those first 24 hours after death? Do Casey's teachings resonate with your own heart? Your dreams, your glimpses of the eternal? Perhaps you felt the presence of a loved one who passed, a fleeting moment that defied explanation. Share your thoughts, your experiences in the comments below. Let's build a community of seekers, exploring these mysteries together, supporting one another on this timeless journey. If this vision of the soul's first day beyond has touched you, inspired you, or sparked new questions, don't keep it to yourself. Share this story with someone who needs it, a friend grieving a loss, a loved one searching for meaning. Subscribe to Shadow and Souls for more explorations into the mysteries of life, death, and the eternal path. Together we can walk this journey with courage, with love, and with the certainty that no soul is ever alone. Until we meet again, may your choices ripple with kindness, your heart open to the light, and your soul move ever closer to its true home.